project for today is to split this log into two pieces. Two pieces that will be lighter so I can actually move it and lift it. I'm going to use my Stihl 64 chainsaw. I rebuilt this saw a while back and now I want to see how well it runs. Please let me know in the comments how you think it runs. Is it rich? Is it lean? Does it run the way it's supposed to? For those of you that haven't seen this Husqvarna gas can before, it's actually an excellent gas can. It's supposed to hold the tools, not slip like that, but that's not the major feature here. The main thing is that you can just hold the nozzle into the tank and it fills up and it doesn't overfill. Works with oil and gas. And it holds some tools, so it actually works very well. Happy with that gas can. Anyway, the chainsaw had a scored piston and cylinder, so I rebuilt it a while back. I could clean up the cylinder, but it needed a new piston, so I put a Meteor piston in there with KB rings. They're supposed to be good, so I used that. It's supposed to be high quality stuff. And now I want to see how well the chainsaw really runs after the rebuild. It's got about 3.9 hours of runtime on it at this time. And I haven't had a chance to do any noodling with it. And I haven't had a chance to try it out with that 36-inch bar on it either. So it'll be interesting to see how well it runs with a 36-inch bar and noodling that log. That log has been sitting in the yard for well over a year. So it's not dry, but it's not completely raw either. The bar is an Iggesund forest bar, the R2 version, which is a solid bar. It makes a chainsaw nose heavy, but that doesn't matter for this kind of work. Now I figured if I was going to cut this into two pieces, I want it to be pretty straight, and to make it straight I would need some guidelines. So I made vertical lines on both ends, and I'm gonna make a line on top as well, just for guidance. Here I'm using a chalk string to mark the top of the log to make a straight line. My plan here is to trim a little bit off the sides. I mean, it's wider at the base and at the top, so I'm not going to use the full width at the bottom anyway. And then just cut it as straight as possible. The reason I want to cut this log is, well, first it's been sitting in the yard for a long time and I want to get rid of it, but also I want to use the wood to make a few boards. And I'm going to use my Logosol chainsaw mill to mill the boards later on, but that's in a different location. So I need to get it there, so I need to be able to load this onto my trailer. So I'm going to use an ancient technique, divide and conquer. So I'm just going to split this into two, and hopefully the pieces will be light enough that I can lift them and load them onto my trailer. As you will see, I'm not a professional logger, I'm just an amateur. However, I do like to run my chainsaws, and today it'll be interesting to see how this one runs. turns out to be quite a bit of work to split a log this way. Now it went fine, but it probably took me almost half an hour to do this work. Now if I'd had more experience doing it, I'm sure it would have been faster. Anyway, I think the surface turned out pretty well. Reasonably straight, and well, this side not as good, but still decent. As I said before, I'm not a professional. I'm sure a professional would have done this much better and also quicker. But it's a fun learning experience. I was trying to see how straight it was, and to be honest, I'm pretty happy with the result. It's pretty straight, so I didn't waste a whole lot of wood. So, what do you think of the result? And how do you think the saw runs? I set this saw to 13,500 RPM before, but that was with an 18-inch bar. Now it sounds like I need to lean it out a little bit. It's just barely touching 13,000 RPM here, and that's a bit low. Maybe the longer bar makes up for that difference. Anyway, I think it runs pretty good, but I'll lean it out a little bit, I think. Thanks.